And we are back. Hey guys, welcome to part two of Brave New World. This brave new world that we're in right now. I just wanted to finish this series with a few thoughts, and I didn't realize how long I've been dragging this out for, because time tends to get away from me, and I don't really. I thought I had a clock back there because I don't really have one on here that is on full display where I can keep track of time. I didn't realize, like, I don't realize sometimes how long I just ramble and I just run my mouth, and some of it's important, some of it is just nothing. Um, but that's another bad habit of mine that I'm trying to work on personally. Um, I just need to get to the point here, but this is a really important topic because you know a lot of people are very confused and they're easily influenced, and it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you're on. It doesn't matter if you're on the right or if you're on the left or if you're somewhere in the middle, if you're a populist or if you're a centrist. Uh, Everybody is so confused right now on what it actually means to be free, what it means to live in a free country, what like what this country actually stands for, what a constitutional republic is, what democracy really is. I don't think there's ever been any time in history where we've been this misguided and have been this led astray. Um, but this is where we're at right now, and it's largely in part due to the technology that we have. You know, just like any news that you were getting 10, 20 years ago, you got from the news. But now you get it through the internet, you get it through social media, you get it just with the notification that you get on your phone. And why wouldn't you pay attention to that notification? Why wouldn't you just take it at face value? If it's there, if it's being sent to you, if it's being sent to you, it's for a reason. If it's being sent to you, it's because it's super important and you have to read it and you have to be aware. Uh, but I mean they're able to influence and to convince anybody of anything now. It's like that saying goes. It's a so this is a quote out of that movie, with Kevin Spacey in it, and it goes something like, the biggest trick that the devil has ever pulled is convincing the world that he doesn't exist. And right now we're seeing Satan's work at full display. Right now we're seeing we're seeing the political corruption for what it is now. And I'm not talking about the way that we could see it 2 or 3 years ago. It's blatant and in our face. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. They're telling us. They're basically telling you to keep your mouth shut. Do not say anything. And if you say anything on social media, your posts will either get taken down, it'll get censored, it'll get shadow banned. Even if you're on Twitter. Um, what we need to do is we need to figure out a way to completely divorce ourselves from the government completely. Um, Because I mean, now I, as much as people don't want to believe this, as much as conservatives, I'm more conservative leaning, but I'm not officially a conservative. But as much as conservatives want this country to be revived, and as much as we want to preserve this constitutional republic that we have, as much as we would like to see old American values start to come back, I think it's so beyond repair that we are going to have to reestablish it. And what does that process look like? I have no idea. How are we going to go about doing that? I have no idea. But it's something that we need to keep looking into. It's something that we need to start taking more seriously, because it's not going to matter how we vote. We may not even have an election next year. And people are worried about like all these different candidates, and you have people that are diehard Trump supporters, which I voted for Trump back in 2020 because at the time, it felt like a much better option than voting for Biden. It felt like, to me, like if I cast a vote for Trump meant casting a vote to get my freedoms back. If Trump were to get reelected, then all the COVID mandates stop tomorrow. All the mandates end tomorrow, even though his administration initiated Operation Warp Speed. Those are Trump's vaccines. But just like anyone, I was a little bit confused, and kind of felt like I was between a rock and a hard place. I don't want to vote for somebody that that will install vaccine mandates, or that will try to get these different COVID mandates passed through the Senate. I didn't want that. So I voted for Trump for that reason. But I just vote for whomever will get the job done, or whoever I think has America's best interest at heart. I don't vote for somebody based on how they are, or their cadence, their mannerisms, their Facebook posts, their tweets, their comments, what they might have said to somebody a long time ago, or if there's some kind of cult behind it, like MAGA is, which is like it's a huge cult right now. Try to convince any diehard MAGA supporter to not support Trump anymore in 2024. You're gonna have a really hard time, because MAGA is a cult in and of itself. It's a brand, and I don't vote for people because of their brand. I don't vote for people because they're the hottest thing right now. I vote for them because I trust them. I trust them to do the right thing. But I think we've gotten so lost down this spiral of hero worship and like false gods, and that we've just completely lost what patriotism really means. We've lost sight of freedom. And but it may not even matter next year. We will probably never have another presidential election again. If the pandemic treaty passes, it's signed, and it's written by the end of the year, then it may not even matter. We need to start prioritizing ourselves. We need to start worrying about our friends and our family. We need to start worrying about our livelihoods. We need to just start worrying about each other. We need to quit making these other people our priority. These other, I mean, how many people is it? Like 500, 600 people. And we're a country full of 350 million people. And we're letting 600, and we're idolizing and we're worshiping these 600 other people because of what? What promises have they fulfilled to us? What promises have they kept? But that's, you have to keep making false promises, and you have to be charismatic, and you have to put on this persona that you're going to come in and you're going to take care of people. And that's how dictatorships begin. This is how any tyrannical government, that's their playbook, is to lie to people, and to charm people, and to sway people into believing their own way. And this is especially true for Agenda 2030 that's subtly being implemented, and will ultimately pass with flying colors in the year 2030. And unless we do something about it, unless we get together, unless we look to each other and not to these other people, we're not going to have any choice. Once it's done, and there's nothing we can do about it. You can sit there and you can hope, and you can, some of you guys are, you have Christian beliefs like I do. Some of you guys are Christian, and you're just praying and you're hoping for Jesus's return, which, there's never been a bigger sign, or there's never been any time in history where it seems like we're getting closer and closer to that point. But that doesn't mean that you should just sit and wait, and just wait and just wait and just wait. Because we have been through conflicts, we have been through atrocities, we have been through world wars. We have had dictators, we have had people that have been slain and that have been cannibalized and that have been torn to pieces. We have had children that, have been molested and that have been raped. Women have been raped. And still, Jesus still hasn't come back. But then again, it's never, you can never really know. It's like God said, the Holy Spirit, not even the Son of the Trinity, knows when the hour, when the day will come, when Jesus will return. But if you just sit there and you just wait for Jesus to return, or you wait for Trump to get reelected, or if you wait for a Republican to to get elected governor of your state. If you just wait and you just wait and you're just hoping that someone with billions of dollars, someone that is further up on the totem pole than you are, you're waiting for that superhero to come in and sweep you off of your feet. But then it's going to be too late. It's going to be too late for somebody to come in and save you. And you can't even save yourself. You are under this totalitarian, worldwide, tyrannical government where you can only move so much and you can only say so much, and they all have to be the right things. If you don't, there will be dire consequences headed your way. And they don't care. They don't care what your belief system is. They don't care what your religion is. They don't care who you voted for in the last election. They don't care that you have conservative values. They don't care that you're a liberal. All they care about is having complete and utter dominion over you, over your family, over your friends, over your livelihood. I mean, I just went over all these objectives, all of these SDG objectives with you guys, step by step, in the first in part one, and they all sound fantastic. They all sound great. They all sound like they can, like we might have viable solutions to get those things going. But again, this is what they always do. They try to convince you, they charm you, they trap you, and game over. You might feel comfortable. You might feel safe knowing that you're protected. But then you can't even drive down the street to Starbucks. You can't even go to your party to this 4th of July hangout that someone's hosting at their house. You can't go there unless you've been approved to go, or if you've submitted document that's coming. And I don't think people realize that there's always a catch. There's always a trade-off. What's being written here, what's being planned here, sounds like a great thing that we may be able to come up with on our own. But this is a worldwide government enforced new world order. And how many times have we seen it where anything that the government tries to get involved with, everything that they touch turns to shit. And everything that they touch, they want more control over. They want more dominion over. So why can't we get to this on our own? And we may never get there. We may never get to a point where we are just this peaceful, loving, caring utopia where everybody's friends with each other, everybody likes each other, people can coexist with each other without any problems, without any disputes, without any wars. And we may get there. Will we ever get there? Does that sound like like a pipe dream? Yeah, it kind of does. This world has never been a utopia. This world has always been full of just atrocities, turmoil, wars, depression, suicide. But I think it is possible. But we've got our work cut out for us. It's gonna take a lot in order to get what they're promising over here. Because in order for it to be the other way around, where we're not the ones doing that, and now the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, they just have all this authority now. And that's a completely different thing than being able than just willingly policing ourselves. Taking 100% responsibility over our own lives. This is a completely different thing than that. This is worldwide surveillance. This is worldwide control. And I don't think people understand the severity of how they're going to implement it, how they've already implemented it, and what they're going to do 7 years down the road. I don't think people, I don't even think that we have a single moment's thought about what that's going to look like. And it's not going to be communism. Communism it's neither here nor there right now. What we need to worry about is worldwide totalitarianism, which is what they want. It's what they want to accomplish here. I'm going to go ahead and just read off some quotes to you guys. This is by one of the directors of the World Economic Forum. I can't remember what his official title is, but it's Klaus Schwab. He's one of the top guys over there at the World Economic Forum. And honestly, the more that I look into this, Klaus Schwab, George Soros, Bill Gates, they're all pretty old. They're all at least, late 60s, early 70s, and, a lot older. And you can tell how they're starting to, you're starting to notice the slowness in their speech. You're starting to notice, the brain fog is starting to become obvious. They're just puppets. And who's running the puppet show? I think I might have an idea of who that is, but I'll get to him in a few moments here. Let me just go ahead and read these quotes off to you guys. I'm going to start off with the first one. History shows, this is Klaus Schwab, history shows that epidemics have been the great resetter of countries' economy and social fabric. Why should it be different with COVID-19? Yeah, and why wouldn't it have been different with the swine flu? I don't remember ever having to shut down our country or keep people locked in their homes back in 2008, 2009 when swine flu came around. I wonder what happened there. And it was far more contagious, far more deadly than COVID. And then we've had like even the Spanish flu, we didn't really do that for. During the Spanish flu season, everybody was it was America. People were left with their own choices. Do you want to shut down your business so that your employees can stay safe from the Spanish flu and go home and not die? Well, then you can do that. But we didn't do anything like even close to what we did with the Spanish flu. But I mean, I think that's interesting that he would make that the last part of his point here, is why should it be different than COVID-19? If something happens, if some kind of a disease starts going around, if there's some kind of a bomb threat, if there's some kind of a terrorist attack, if there's some kind of catastrophe like an earthquake or like a hurricane, tornado, a mudslide, a tsunami, a volcano, we need to figure out how we're going to be able to control people, because we don't want people to die. We don't want people to get murdered or killed. And mass shootings, it's the same thing. And that's how it always starts. We just want to keep you safe. Let's go ahead and get to the next quote here. Put in simple terms, in a post-pandemic world beset by unemployment, insufferable inequalities, and angst about the environment, the ostentatious display of wealth will no longer be acceptable. So you are no longer in charge of how successful you want to become or how much money you want to make, because there's a cap now on how much money you can make. If it's $1 million, they're gonna make damn sure that they implement all these different government regulations, and some kind of written legislation where you can't go over a certain threshold of your income. And if you do, well, now you're going to have to give that all away. Now you're going to have to give it to them, not so that they can take care of people that need it the most, or that are just wanting that, or that just need shelter, or that need food. But it's all being distributed. It's all being circulated, and it's being sent, and then it's being sent back. And they're getting filthy rich. Those people, you really think that by having complete equality in our society under the guise of the New World Order means that we're going to be equal to them? No, of course not. It just means that we're going to be equal to each other, but we'll be equal to each other in the sense that the only food that we'll be eating are bugs. The only food that we'll be eating is dog shit, and they will be eating steak. They will be eating fruits and vegetables. They're going to be eating fish. They will literally live like kings and queens. But we don't get to have any part of that whatsoever. If you are not already grandfathered into that club, You don't get to make over $1 million a year. Now that's just an example that I'm throwing out. I'm not saying that will actually be the cap, but let's just make $1 million the cap for whatever your take home income before taxes. And if you make anywhere between $500,000 a year and $1 million a year, now you owe the government 70 to 80% of whatever you make. And it will never go to the people that need it the most. As much as like I'm 100% support capitalism over socialism, but there is such a thing as ethical capitalism and unethical capitalism, and not every single person that makes all the money that they have earn that money in good faith. Not every single person that has millions of dollars in their account deserves to have that in their account right now. There's a lot of grifters, there's a lot of posers, there's a lot of fake people out there that, again, they'll promise you the world, and they'll give motivational advice, and they'll try to like Andrew Tate with Hustler University, and Trump with like whatever his university, Trump University or something like that. It's all a game, and it's all a game in order to get richer and richer and richer, and make sure that the poor get poorer and poorer and stay poor. That's the goal. And the poorer you are, the easier you are to control. I mean, that's just the reality. So, as much as I think it's wrong to fall into the trap of all these different motivational entrepreneurial gurus, where they tell you, hey, you gotta work your ass off every second of every day, no rest, no breaks, no time with friends, no time with family, so that you can become as rich as me. And look at me and my Bugattis and my Corvettes and my Rolls Royces. Look at this big flashy house behind me. I did it. Why can't you? Well, they didn't always get there out of integrity or out of blood, sweat, and tears, hard work. They're there because they are lying sacks of shit that will take advantage of other people, that will abuse people, and that will suck their money dry. People like that exist. So there's one form of capitalism that I just can't get behind. And a good portion of that can be contributed to taxes. To actually, I'm not saying that taxes should be the should be the source where everybody gets their help. Because honestly, I think that the government should just stay out of everything. Stay out of my business, stay out of my life. But contribute a certain portion of it to charity that will actually help a certain people get back on their feet, help people out of poverty, help people out of hunger. But I want to make this very clear to you guys that that those people associated with the World Economic Forum, these politicians, those are the fat cats. Those are the really rich people. It's not John down the street from me that lives in a nice big house over here in Rancho Palos Verdes because he built his business from the ground up, and now he has 500 employees, and now he's got a good nest egg because he deserves it, because he earned it. But he only makes like 7 figures, maybe a little over 7 figures. That's not considered to be a rich person. People like Klaus Schwab, like George Soros, like Elon Musk, like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. Who's that guy that used to be over at Twitter? The guy, anyway. Those are the billionaires. And soon we will no longer have the choice between wanting to carve that path off for ourselves or just staying in undeveloped, useless, weakest versions of ourselves, where you're always going to be broke, you're always going to be struggling, you're always going to have your hand out. You're just going to keep eating, you're just going to keep getting fat, you're just going to keep staring at your phone. You're just going to, you're just always in this state of worry, like, am I going to have enough to cover rent next month? Am I going to have enough to cover my phone bill next month? Am I going to have enough to cover my insurance next month? Am I going to have enough to cover all 3 of my kids next month? You are never going to get out of that unless you make a change. Unless you decide that your past trauma, your childhood, the toxic people that you've had in your life do not define you as a human being. And if you can figure that out, and if you can figure out what the problem is, if you can figure out that, maybe it's not the world against you, maybe you're just standing in your own way. If you can figure that out, especially very early on, then you are already powerful. You are already immune to their tactics. You are already a force of reckoning to these people. You are not controllable. That's the last thing that they want. They want people to be in this constant state of being victimized, of being treated unfairly, and just not having any hope, and feeling very scared about the future, feeling very uncertain. Because that's advantageous to them. Well, what I think is really important that we do as a society is that we need to keep an open mind. We really need to be open to possibilities, because there's far too many of us here that just always want to be right. We just always, whomever we idolize, whomever we worship, We don't like it when other people talk bad about them. We don't like it when other people criticize them. Because now we have this version of them inside of our heads that we've created, maybe based on false promises, maybe based on their lip service, that we have manufactured in our heads. And we don't like it when other people criticize them. And this isn't. I mean, this goes for every single. This is true when it comes to politicians. This is true when it comes to celebrities, or if you're religious, if you're a Christian. It's true with pastors. You can't ever criticize Pastor Greg Laurie. You can't ever criticize Pastor John MacArthur, because everything that they say is valid and it's true and it's undisputable. And you can never question, you can never pick apart, you can never criticize them, because they have all the answers. And now you have shut the conversation down. The end. There's no room for discussion. There's no room for debate. But it's not a sustainable way to be as a society. And it's definitely counterproductive to taking our freedoms back, or making this country what it was. We are never going to solve these issues. We are never going to stop this Agenda 2030 plan dead in its tracks if we do not become open-minded, if we don't start asking questions, if we don't start being objective. If you're someone right now who doesn't support Biden, whom you might have people in your life that are leftists, they vote blue no matter who, and they are staunch supporters of Biden. But you hate Biden. You hate his policies. You don't appreciate the fact that all this money that we're sending over, to the Ukraine is always getting cycled back to him, his family, and his son. And you feel some type of way about that. But you don't ever want to tell any of your friends, you don't ever want to tell any of your family members, because you don't want to ruin the relationship, because you don't want to rock the boat. If you're somebody like me, who maybe you voted for Trump in the past, maybe you've been a supporter, maybe you've even been a MAGA supporter, but now he's starting to say certain things, and he's starting to display certain types of behavior that are just not congruent with who you are as a human being. Now a lot is starting to come out about him and his family that maybe you didn't know before, and you're starting to catch on to it, and you're starting to ask questions. But now you have family, now you have friends that are still MAGA supporters. They're still ride or die Trump supporters, and you try and talk to them about it, and they shut you down, and so you just keep your mouth shut. Because again, you don't want to sever relationships, and you don't want to repulse anybody by not being a Trump supporter anymore. Or, even to a lesser extent, let's say that you used to like Britney Spears. You used to like listening to Britney Spears' music. But now you don't like that she is doing, for whatever reason, you don't like the Instagram reels that she does where she's like twirling around and she's dancing, and she's making like all these long-winded captions and descriptions in her posts, and that's very off-putting to you. But you have friends that maybe you've known since childhood that have been huge fans of Britney Spears since then. They're all a part of like the Free Britney movement, and Britney can never say or do anything wrong whatsoever. She's always right, and you can't say anything to them about that. I think unless it's somebody that they really have to mean something to you in order for you to defend them, no matter what they do, no matter if it's the right thing or if it's the wrong thing. They really have to mean something special in order for you to do that. And I'd like to think that it's a very, very close friend, or if it's your spouse, or if it's your child, or if it's your parents. But no, most people, they have all these these celebrities and these politicians that they idolize and they praise and they worship. It's talked about in Revelation that's what's going to transpire, is false gods. Trump is a false god. Let me go ahead and get into whom I might think take it, and this is just based on my own observation. This is just solely opinion based. I can't prove any of this stuff personally. It's just speculation, but I think it might be somebody in Trump's family that is calling the shots here. I'm not going to say exactly who that is yet, just in case I'm wrong in the future, but I think it is someone in his family that, people ask, whenever they see Biden giving a speech, or they see him, forgetting to salute the Marines, people have always asked the question, who is in his ear? Who is giving him all these marching orders? Who's telling him what to do? I think I might have an idea of who that is. And so something about this guy too is that I saw him doing a peace and prosperity conference a few months ago. Well, I saw the replay later. I didn't see exactly when it happened, but it was a peace and prosperity conference, and it's this table with him, and it's like a couple of other people. I think this one, I think he's the prime minister of from Brazil, and it's talked about. They talk about the mission for 2030. Yeah, they actually have a mission 2030, which sounds a little bit familiar, doesn't it? It does sound very parallel to Agenda 2030. But this is someone in Trump's family doing this. And where do we see this? Where have we seen this written? Where have we seen this prophesied? And in the book of Revelation, it talks a lot about peace treaties and, you know, attempts to unite the world and to unite different countries and to promise people the world that it doesn't matter if you're a conservative, that is, you know, if you're a pull yourself up by your bootstraps conservative, or if you're a bleeding heart liberal. If you're in any one of those categories, you are being promised a lie. But both sides of the spectrum. You are being promised bullshit. I want to make that very clear. You are being lied to. You are being manipulated. You are being given false hope because you refuse to get up and stand on your own 2 feet and take your own life into your own hands. Take your own freedom into your own hands. Because you're just sitting and you're waiting and you're hoping. Because, I don't know, a lot of people feel scared. A lot of people feel like their back is up against the wall. A lot of people, I mean, I just listened to the podcast that Joe Rogan did with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And he was saying how I think he went on Theo Von's podcast, or they were about to, but Theo Von didn't want to air it because, you know, he doesn't want to lose his stream of income. He doesn't want to lose his traffic. And, you know, I mean, people like that, conservatives have called cowards. They have called them nutless wonders. And, you know, personally, I don't care. You know, I'll say whatever I want. I don't really have anything to lose. But, I mean, you know, the more that I think about it, you know, if you're someone with a large following, if the stakes are really high, and, you know, maybe you even have a family to support, I can see why people feel less they feel a little bit less courageous. I can see why. I mean, it's almost like you know, like you have a gun to your head and you're completely unarmed, and in order for the pistol to be removed from your head, you have to say, you know, please don't shoot me. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt my family. I'll do anything you want. I'll do anything you tell me. Well, I mean, that's what it's like. Especially if you're somebody in that neighborhood. If you're somebody who is deeply ingrained into, you know, the Hollywood community or the podcast community, there's always a real threat there, and it's not just monetary. It's also physical. Some of these people, they're getting death threats, they're getting nasty emails, they're getting nasty comments. They'll have, we saw it a couple of years ago when Larry Elder was running for governor here in California, where he was just walking with his with his team, and there's this woman that threw eggs at Larry Elder, who's this 70-year-old, he seems like he's a gentle guy. I don't really have anything negative to say about him personally, from what I've seen. But a lot of people are just scared. A lot of people are just terrified. But it's also why, we all need to stand up and say something. We all need to do that. We have an obligation to do that. Each and every single one of us. It doesn't matter if you're somebody in my position. It doesn't matter if you're a podcaster. It doesn't matter if you're a politician. It doesn't matter if you are a real estate agent, if you are a plumber, or if you're an electrician, or if you're a teacher. If you're a janitor, it does not fucking matter. You should be making a video. You should be saying something right now. You should be forming groups of people. There's power. There's real power in numbers. So we have to start looking to the left and to the right of. We need to start looking to our friends. We need to start looking to our family, because those are the only people that we've got right now. Because you never know what's going to happen. We all take this society so for granted, to the point where we don't think that we're ever going to need each other. And so if we don't feel like we're ever going to need each other, well, then we start to become less capable. We start to become less dependable. And now we can't even depend on each other anymore. And that's exactly what they want. I come from a generation where when I was growing up, all we really had was our next door neighbors, or the people that we knew. The internet was barely around back then. It was mostly analog, to tell you the truth, which was a good thing, because we kept all of our relationships personal. Whenever you're on a trip somewhere, to a concert or an event, you didn't really have your phone or really anything to distract you or to keep you entertained. All that was left to do was either write in your notebook, read a book, look outside the window. If you were bored as a kid, then you just had to find out some way to become not bored anymore. You played outside. You played with your action figures. You wrote down on a piece of paper. You created art. I happen to come from a time where there's actually like you know, that's when boredom really existed. So anyway, guys, this has been part 2. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, share with your friends and your family, and subscribe to me and all of that kind of stuff. I gotta get going.